All right, let's shift our focus for now. As New Delhi prepares to welcome Vladimir Putin, it's worth remembering that the India-Russia relationship has never been just about oil and weapons. It's a cultural bond, a shared history, a living, breathing, people-to-people connection. From Soviet-era ties to modern-day collaborations, the cultural thread holds strong. Thousands of Indian students study medicine and engineering in Russia. Russian universities teach Hindi, Sanskrit, yoga, Ayurveda, classical Indian arts, and Bollywood cinema have legions of fans across Russia. This cross-pollination flows both ways though. Russian ballet and theatre have influenced India, and exchange of art, films, festivals and exhibitions are very common. Tourism and mobility are rising. Russian officials say Indian tourist visits are surging, and this December's visit may bring fresh moves to ease labour mobility and visa norms. With the mobility agreement, the door may open wider for Indian professionals in Russia's expanding sectors. In short, this isn't a new alliance, it's a decades-old civilizational bond. And as Putin comes to India, the real story isn't just negotiations, it's that two nations are renewing a friendship that transcends geopolitics, rooted in culture, sustained by people, and evolving for a new generation. And to discuss this further, joining us on the broadcast, Anuradha Chinoy, Adjunct Professor, Jindal School of International Affairs. Very good morning. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Professor, how would you say India-Russia cultural exchanges have evolved since perhaps the 1950s, especially when it comes to art, cinema, literature?
Well, look, number one, India-Russia relations are very holistic. And they're at multiple levels. Beginning, if one level, of course, is the top level, the strategic level between the Prime Minister, their President. The second level is academics, cultural activists, cultural stars, Bollywood. But the third very important level is that this is all going down into a people-to-people understanding, because, when there has been no conflict of interest, there has been trade, it's historic, it's time-tested, then people themselves also begin, they have curiosity about each other's cultures and they relate to each other. Now, Russia has a great interest in the East, always. And this interest in the East is not a colonial interest like the West has had. We had colonial rulers and Eurocentric views. This is, kind of a very equal exchange. They have a love for Bollywood. They have a love for yoga. They have an interest and in mind of inquiry towards Ayurveda, traditional medicines, because they don't have that. They have very, a different kind of scientific trajectory of medicine. So, and Indians have the same. This is one country. You look at the political spectrum. Is there any political party which is opposing or critical of it? No, the first visit, for example, of Prime Minister Vajpayee, when he became the first, kind of BJP Prime Minister in this country, his first visit was to Russia. Prime Minister Modi he's met Mr. Putin dozens of times, and, just 4 times, this might be the 4th time in this just 1 year. So this filters down also. But culturally, I think there is also scope for more. Besides Bollywood, I think methods should be made for more translation. Of course, universities have had Russian language, just like they have Hindi and multiple languages. But I think a little bit of push from the University Grants Commission to get in their scientists, because now language is no longer a problem given AI. You can go to any country. I have traveled, several countries, and just by keying in and saying Google Translate, you get an idea of what's happening. I've seen mercenaries, I've seen interviews of mercenaries fighting on the Russian-Ukraine front using just the Google Translate. So that is the scope. And I think considering that, we need to build on this more. It just cannot just be,
Right.
Raj Kapoor and and a few others. It needs to get on to the new alternate cinema, and they have more than we have their cinema, quite frankly.
Absolutely. And in fact, I
yeah.
was just going to come to this as well. And it's funny that you mentioned that, because that's exactly what I was going to ask. Why do you think Russian audiences have historically embraced Indian cinema, particularly, as you mentioned, Raj Kapoor, Bollywood musicals? What do you think culturally has made that connection so organic?
Well, they love Indian cinema, whether it's from all the Central Asian countries I've gone to Russia. Every time they ask about individual stars, they want to know about them. So, I think our film magazines also should reach out over there. I don't know, there is a bit of an obsession with the West, quite frankly, out here. Of course, I'm not opposed to Western films. I see a lot of them. And we see a lot of Netflix, etc. But I think our business and our cultural community, the leaders of that, need to re-engage and invite them. Now, Russian cinema, there are some very important analysts of Russian cinema in India, in our universities, who analyze Russian culture, but I haven't seen them getting the kind of highlight in our media. They can talk about their assessment of Russian films. Now, Russian films there are all kinds, like any other country's films. Some are very serious. A lot of them, there was a period when they did a lot of kind of socialist realism. That's gone. But they have some very serious films, science and scientific fiction films, etc. So, I think the Indian distributors might be nervous of the profits. After all this is in the private sector, where profits is a major issue.
All right.
I think we need to be more creative, right from all these various levels that I've described, especially in the media, to have a discussion sometimes if there's a good Russian film or a good Russian serial. Maybe just like you're discussing today, this doesn't have to be a one-off just because, the president of Russia is coming and so you have a discussion. But India also has to spread their idea of tourism.
Right.
Welcoming Russian guests. I think a lot of Russian tourists did come to Goa, but there have to be infrastructure for that. I know when I myself went to Goa, I saw that there was a full taxi mafia who was refusing to go from North to South Goa, for example. And for any tourist, that becomes very difficult. These
Right.
little things matter. So I think in culture, we need to, it's there, but we can't
Absolutely.
keep talking about the same thing. It needs to really be enhanced at multiple levels.
Right. And
at
that being
technical
said-
infrastructure and all.
Right. That being said, Professor, how do you see this visit of Vladimir Putin? Do you think it can further strengthen that people-to-people cross-pollination exchange, the cultural exchange that we have seen so far? Do you think that can be strengthened in the areas that you've mentioned as well?
Definitely, I think if this visa regime gets some changes, as you indicated, and we'll only know if the agreement is signed, and in which the Russians are definitely looking for labor mobility, which is not just like construction workers like who are going to Dubai, but at various levels. Russia has a huge shortage of labor for services, even scientific experts, computer experts, etc., at multiple levels. And if the visa and if there are kind of connections made, that will help. One is labor mobility. Second is a visa. The third is language, translators. I know JNU has a full school of Russian language. And earlier it was very popular. These young students were getting jobs as translators in both countries, in India and in Russia. And for a while, all this went down because of two reasons. One is, this whole COVID issue where people stopped traveling for 2 or 3 years. Second, the sanctions on Russia and the fear that there was a war. And third, also because of our kind of very Western orientation. Everyone wants to just, really go to the West. Now you can see, for example, just a few days ago, Mr. Putin has given visa-free travel to China, and it has 1.4 billion people. So you can imagine the boost in Russian tourist industries. If we give 2 weeks or 3 weeks, let's say, visa-free travel for Russian, imagine the boost for our tourist industry and the fact that the people-to-people exchange, because those are the people, right? How do you have people-to-people exchange? When people actually meet, not just on paper, not just, of course, articles in the media and television are very important, engagement is such, but actual travel, and it is a globalized world, and a globalized world should not be totally Eurocentric. And again, I'm saying I have nothing against the European, because I myself love those films. But how many French films are we seeing, the public?
Of course, we
We're
hear
just
you.
seeing,
Right.
so I think we need to expand that vision, and I think the media plays a big role in it.
All right. Well, Professor, thank you so much for joining us for a discussion on this. It's been a pleasure to have you on the show with us.
Thank you.